Okay, I am Michelle Pullen, and I'm recording today with Mark Pence, who is the founder and organizer of, can you say the name of your organization?
Loves Night Guns Incorporated.
Gloves Not Guns Incorporated. There you go. So Mark is with me today because JCTC and Americans Who Tell the Truth, the Ali Center, the library, a group of us got together and created what we call the Ali Challenge. And Mark was the first person to write me about it. And I had a feeling about him right from the start, and it turned out I was right. He kept in touch with me all summer long. And so I'm going to talk to him today about him being chosen as our Ali Challenge winner. He's our first Ali Challenge winner. So he's leading the way. And as I've gotten to know him, I recognize he's been leading the way for a while on a lot of different things. So I think my intuitions about him were good. And I'm so excited to talk with you today, Mark. So could you just maybe to start, tell us how you found out about the Ali Challenge and why you decided to follow through on it? Many people may have found out about it, but you actually followed through and stuck with it all summer. So can you tell us about that?
I spend a lot of time at the main library anyway. It's a really special place to me that's near and dear to my heart. I'm a huge fan of Olmsted, and so he designed the library and a lot of other places throughout the nation. So sometimes I like to go to just marvel at its architecture. But I happened to be coming from upstairs, and I seen the bulletin board that I checked off, and I put my flyers for Gloves Not Guns there sometimes, and I seen the flyer for the Ali Challenge. And if you know me, if anyone knows me, they know all things Muhammad Ali is definitely my skill set, my specialty, where I like to live and reside. And so instantly I was excited because it's anything Muhammad Ali. It excites me. It gives me purpose. It gives me reason. And I was really excited by just seeing it. It was something that was being offered to the community, because sometimes I feel like maybe there's not as much surrounded around Muhammad Ali and just different things that he stood for, and like activism and humanitarian work being offered to the city. So it was really exciting to see that, and I just had to jump on it.
All right. Well, I'm glad you saw that that was our intention. You know, the Ali Challenge, for anybody who's listening to this or watching this, you can go and see it on our JCTC website and platform that they'll be putting out about this. But Mark is exactly right. We were highlighting his activism and his humanitarianism, which is really the purpose of the center itself, actually. So you've captured exactly what we had in mind. So can you talk a little bit about your process? What I remember when we communicated was that you started with the documentary, I think, about the Americans Who Tell the Truth project, where Muhammad is one of the portraits featured.
Yeah.
And then you went from there. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of you don't have to go step by step exactly, but give us a picture of what you did.
Okay. So the challenge initially was just watching the documentary for the Americans Who Tell the Truth Tellers. Sorry, I'm having a hard time saying it all together. It was a
That's
lot to
all
say.
right.
But
truth,
so
truth is the main word there, right?
and
Yeah.
so I documentary. And it just so happened I was with Breonna Taylor's aunt and uncle for a filming for something else we were doing, and I spent the weekend with them, so I had the opportunity to spend time with Breonna Taylor's family and watch the documentary as and share it with them as well. And so we all enjoyed it, and that was the beginning of it. So that gave me a lot of push and motivation, because I did spend a lot of time being a part of Breeway and just advocating for Breonna Taylor. So it was near and dear to me to be able to do both things at that time. And that's when I came up with the idea to initiate using what we call artificial intelligence. Some would say AI, And I went into the process of wanting to do like I say a mural, but it was really just a painting on canvas. And so with some different ideas and things that I like, I love goats. I love animals, period. And I do advocate for the rights of animals and different things going on as far as like poaching and different illegal things taking place with animals as well. So goats is one of my favorite animals. And as you can see on my shirt, I got the goat. So they call Muhammad Ali the GOAT, the greatest of all time, abbreviated. And so what went through my mind is Muhammad Ali in the actual fields with the goats. It's like a metaphor. And I envisioned that by inserting that into the AI technology systems that I was working with. And that's how I initially came up with the 2 different paintings I submitted. But I also did different work in the community this summer too, because I really spent some time to read through the manuscript that I was sent for the challenge and the different steps we had to take. And so some of that involved having discussions. Some of that involved actually implementing what we talked about in the discussions, and just trying to spread the message of telling truth and being yourself and speaking out for what you think is wrong. Because when we don't speak out about things and we only observe it or look at it, sometimes we're just as bad as the people doing the wrong, because we have an opportunity to say something that may, what I've noticed in my life is that if you have people saying something, and even if it's just 3 or 4 people, the fact that it's people united together speaking against something, it makes a difference and it makes an impact.
Wow. You got it. Oh my gosh. There were so many things in there that I would love to follow up and discuss with you at another time in greater length. You hit on some really, really important parts of the project. And I think I'm going to put you on the spot right now and say, the next time we do this, I want you on my team because you really got the whole thing, the idea of building community around a truth. And I'm completely in awe and grateful that you shared this with Breonna Taylor's family. So I
Yes.
want to acknowledge that and say thank you. I am looking above my desk from where we're speaking at a huge poster of Breonna Taylor that was made by some kids at the Louisville Urban League. Yeah. So I wanted to let you know that Breonna Taylor is very connected to actually why we created this challenge this summer. How about that? And
Yes.
I don't think you and I ever talked about this, but we're amazingly in sync here. And I think for those of you listening to or seeing this outside of our city, I encourage you to look up Breonna Taylor's story. And you'll understand why Breeway and Breonna Taylor's story is so connected to this project all the way through. And Breonna Taylor was a student at JCTC. So,
Yes.
yeah. And so I wanted to thank you and acknowledge that just briefly while we're speaking, and ask people who are listening to this to please, hop on board this Breeway train to justice. It's going to take some work from a lot of people, as you understand. So I'm building on what you're saying about community, and I wanted to offer you, as a follow-up question, an opportunity to talk about your organization and what your hopes are for its truths and for its part in our community. So if you could start by telling us, what are some of the truths that your organization really trusts and believes in? And then the part 2, can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing in the community so far? And then if you want to make an ask of the community, what kinds of ways can we support you? So is that too much for one? I have a feeling there's not anything too much for you.
If your mind can conceive it and you believe it, you can achieve it.
Oh, thank you. There you go. All
Little
right.
words.
So, yes, the great Muhammad Ali. Yes. Thank you so much for that. So go for it. Tell us about your organization, its truths, what you want to do in the community, and how can we support you?
Yes. So Gloves Not Guns Incorporated, aka Gloves Not Guns Inc. That's Gloves Not Guns with a Z.
Yes.
Um, started in 2018. I had always been doing work in the community because I was a youth in the Y Now program through the YMCA Safe Place. So I did a lot of volunteer service being a youth in that program, which inspired me to do a lot of things. And then my late grandmother, Sherry Felder, was a heavy advocate for the community. She served as part of former councilman Willie B. Bright. She was a part of his campaign trail when I was a child, and she was very instrumental as being part of the motorcade they have every Martin Luther King Day in the West End. And she did a lot of work in the 80s and 90s around HIV and AIDS. And so I naturally had it in me to want to serve the community and do different things. But what initially kind of stirred me in the direction of wanting to get an LLC and wanting to make it a legitimate company with registration was my friend Dwayne Sensley being murdered in the Park Hill neighborhood. And so initially it kind of gave me the inspiration to want to grow beyond what I was doing to maybe really inspire minds. And then in 2021, unfortunately, there was a bus stop shooting in which I was a first responder. And so I saved one of the children who were shot's life, me and one of my neighbors. And so from that, I just kind of, I wanted to be able to just really be a accessible leader who could speak for the people who can't speak and be there to pick up the slack for the places that are lacking or for the people who got turned away for whatever the reasons were, whether it be because of funding running out or, just a waiting list, whatever it was, because I don't believe Louisville is a terrible place. I believe that it's one of the greatest cities in the world. Regardless of what you may see or hear, what we have going on, this is a beautiful place. And I've traveled around the world, and people from around the world just love Louisville. And they tell me stories about how they come and they feel like they at home and it's family and it's so hospitable. So Gloves Not Guns was created to really instill that, not only to just preserve and renaissance the legacy of the great Muhammad Ali, but to, really just promote the idea of compassion and unity and brotherhood and just loving one another, because that's really what's wrong with the world, is that we've all grown into these spaces of wanting to be individuals and wanting to set ourselves in a place that's aside from the rest of society to feel as if we're above one another. And we live these lives through like social media and these facades that really set us apart from each other. With cell phones, you can have a group of people in a room and it's silent because everybody's on their phones and stuff. And so that will aid sometimes in, the lack of compassion for your fellow human being, on top of poverty, on top of bad environments that will push you to want to harm other people or bring harm upon your environment and your community. So through all of that, I wanted to create an organization and legitimize that organization, because it's not many Black owned and Black male led organizations that do this type of work. And that's what we need the most. I'm trying to circle back. What was the second part?
Oh, yeah, that's why I asked you, was that too much? So, yes, and I'm a teacher, I should know better. So how can the community support you?
The community,
how can we help you?
The community can support me by always just contributing. Right now we have a cash app. It's $ Gloves Not Guns Inc.
Okay.
Always donate to us. You can volunteer. You can donate boxing equipment, because part of what we do with Gloves, we provide boxing training to the youth free of charge with partnerships with the local gyms. We partner to put on different boxing exhibition events. We do different volunteer service initiatives. I have an initiative where we actually help nonprofits move their clients into new housing. We help them move into their new office spaces free of charge. And we have men that come out and set up and break down for community events free of charge. We assist with bereavement. So that would be like buying headstones, the repast meals that they have after the services, paying for obituaries, following up with utility companies and different maybe outside of the bereavement ordeals that you need to take care of, such as utilities and rent and things like that. Because a lot of times family members will be behind on rent or find themselves in the hole having to pay for unexpected loss. And so, you know, you can always contribute in the ways of doing that. I'm always open to, as far as our leaders and our elders that came before me in the community, I'm always open to mentorship. So if you see me in the community and you feel like share a few words with me, please do. I'm always open to encouragement. I'm always open to wisdom and different things that I could learn. I'm definitely always interested in internships so that I can shadow
Mm.
and be in a to learn to be better, because I do believe that in order to be a leader, you really have to invest in yourself, your education, your learning, your personal, mental, and emotional and physical health, so that you can be able to really be the best leader that you can be. And then just for our mothers and our grandmothers and our aunties in the community, please keep praying for me. Please keep praying that, you know, I have good company around me, that I got good leadership and pathways to walk down, so that we can really get this work done. Because if I'm supported by my community, I can be able to stand tall and proudly and be able to do this work, so we can get our babies off the streets, so we can try to level down on some of this crime and violence.
Whew. Okay. Wow. I'm going to leave it there. I love what you're asking for. And I hope that we can help you find that through this particular challenge and this particular project. And I want to thank you for being there this summer. You've already taught me so much today, and I will be in touch with you about our next steps. But for now, I just want to say thank you and tell you how grateful I am you found that piece at the library. Wonderful. All right. Bye-bye.